The dim morning light barely pierced the gloom. I must have dozed off, slumped against the wall, because I woke with the flashlight still clutched tight in my hand. The house was silent again, a heavy, waiting silence that felt more menacing than the earlier noises. Any sane person would have left then. They would have run to their car, driven away, and never, ever looked back. But I'm a historian, and historians are a stubborn breed. We're driven by a need to understand, to piece together the fragments of the past. And this house held a story I couldn't walk away from. The silence was broken by a single, maddening sound, a faint, rhythmic dripping. Drip, drip, drip. It seemed to pull me forward, a siren song leading me deeper into the house's mysteries. I followed it to the study, the room where I'd first heard the child's cries. The sound was stronger here, coming from behind a large, torn tapestry depicting some forgotten battle. My curiosity overriding my fear, I pulled the heavy fabric aside. There, hidden in the wall, was a narrow door I hadn't seen before. It creaked open under my touch, revealing a stone spiral staircase descending into darkness. The air that wafted up was thick and cloying. The smell hit me first, a nauseating mix of wet earth, mildew, and something else, something organic and rotten. It was the smell of a place long sealed, a place meant to be forgotten. I held my breath and started down, my flashlight beam cutting a nervous path through the oppressive black. The stairs ended in a cellar, larger than I'd expected. The dripping was louder now, echoing off damp stone walls. My light swept across the space, and my heart hammered against my ribs. I saw the curve of iron bars. It was a cell. No, not just one. A row of them, small and cruel, lined one wall. Rusted shackles hung from the stone, silent testament to unimaginable suffering. This wasn't just a cellar. It was a private dungeon. My beam continued its trembling journey, and then it found them. On the far side of the room, half buried in dust and debris, were bones, piles of them, and they were small, far too small. A wave of nausea washed over me. I stumbled backward, gagging, my hand flying to my mouth. My heel caught the corner of something hard, and I fell against a rickety wooden table. The impact sent a cascade of old papers scattering across the filthy floor. I scrambled to get up, my mind reeling from the horror of the tiny skeletons. As I pushed myself to my feet, I saw that one sheet of paper had drifted to rest on the toe of my boot. It was brittle, yellowed with age, but the ink was surprisingly legible. My eyes were drawn to the name at the top. Thomas Blackwell, the founder of the house. My hands shook as I picked it up and read the spidery script. To bind the restless soul, one must bury the living heart with the dead. She would not stop calling for the child. The words swam before my eyes. A ritual, a sacrifice. The child, the crying, it all clicked into place with horrifying clarity. This house wasn't just haunted, it was cursed, sealed by an act of unspeakable cruelty. I had to get out. I couldn't breathe, the air thick with the stench of death and despair. I turned and scrambled back toward the stairs, the brittle paper crushed in my fist. As I reached the bottom step, my flashlight, my only comfort in this abyss, began to flicker violently. In the strobing, disorienting half-darkness, I saw it. Or rather, him. A figure was standing at the foot of the stairs where nothing had been moments before. A man's silhouette, tall and imposing, his face a featureless shadow. He was utterly still. Time seemed to stop. The air grew cold, and the only sound was the frantic beat of my own heart and the final dying hum of my flashlight. Then, he moved. He slowly raised a hand, not in greeting, but in accusation, and pointed directly at me. A voice, raspy and ancient, echoed in the confined space, seeming to come from the very walls around me. You shouldn't have woken her. And then, the light went out. Complete, total darkness swallowed me whole. but I wasn't alone. I could hear something moving in the black, something shuffling up the stairs, getting closer and closer, and I could hear a new sound mixing with the soft, wet footsteps, a faint, childish giggle. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this journey into the dark, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe and always be wary of the stories old houses have to tell.